MattyBoy808 was visiting the Paris catacombs when he decided to photograph several pitch-black tunnels that were closed off to the public. Later, while reviewing the images, one photo immediately stood out. A woman dressed in white appeared to be standing at the end of one gated tunnel. Some commenters suggested it might have been a statue, and the poster admitted he couldn't rule that out. However, he said he didn't see anything there when the flash was off, explaining that he was looking at his phone screen at the time and only noticed the figure later. Others questioned whether the photo had been edited, but the poster showed a screen recording of the original image.
I will click the details button, and there you can see the timestamp, July 16th, 12:37 p.m. You can see the dimensions and my phone model, etc., etc. And I'll just scroll sideways through those images. So 12:37, 12:08 p.m., and I believe it's the next image. Oh, never mind, I took two pictures of that. And then 12:07 p.m., and that's the image right there. You can see Galaxy S25 Edge, the 16th, 12:07. Says flash used because, like I said in my post, I did use my flash down the gated off tunnel. And even though this version isn't brightened, I didn't brighten this one like in my original post, which I brightened a little in Snapseed. But if I pull it down like this and, zoom in, you can still see pretty clearly whatever it is we're looking at in this image.
After some commenters brightened the photo, the figure became even clearer. And to me, it looks more like a person than a statue. A man was walking through the forest when he suddenly noticed something strange moving between the trees. He quickly hid behind a tree and pulled out his camera. In the footage, a large upright figure can be seen walking through the woods. According to the witness, the figure stood roughly 7 feet tall and closely matched the descriptions that have long been associated with Bigfoot. Fortunately, whatever he saw kept its distance, and the man made it out of the forest safely. In 2009, a hiker in the mountains of Colorado spotted what he believed was a Sasquatch. The region has long been associated with reports of Bigfoot sightings. Wanting to be sure of what he had seen, the hiker returned to the same spot a short time later. But the figure was gone. All he found was a pile of straw where he believed the creature had been standing. Whether the two were connected remains unknown, but how can we say for certain that it wasn't just a bear? Reddit user MyCatIsLenin shared this security camera clip after noticing something unusual outside their home at around 3 a.m. The footage showed what appeared to be a tall, pale figure passing between two fence posts in just a split second. The strange shape was only visible for a brief moment before disappearing from view. The homeowner later pointed out that if it really had been a person walking through the yard, it should have also appeared on 2 other security cameras covering the same area, yet none of them captured anything. That detail led many to question whether the figure was actually much closer to the lens, perhaps an insect or another object, creating an unusual illusion. Reddit user OddVillage971 shared this photo after exploring a set of old World War II tunnels. According to the user, there was no one else inside the tunnel when the picture was taken. But after looking at the photo later, they noticed what appeared to be a dark human-shaped figure standing near the exit. The user also pointed out that the shadow didn't seem to match the direction of the light, making the image even more unsettling. Many viewers initially thought the photo showed the silhouette of a soldier. Others later suggested the figure may have been an optical illusion created by metal fixtures and shadows near the tunnel entrance. Whatever caused it, the image has never been fully explained to everyone's satisfaction. A woman began receiving motion alerts from her security camera, warning her that someone was in her backyard. When she checked the footage, she saw this. Someone was there indeed. As she reviewed the clip, one detail caught her attention.
I'll wrap around the corner of the building. That is a really big hand.
An unusually large hand appeared to wrap around the edge of the wall. Minutes later, another alert came through. This time, the same figure appeared moving slowly across the yard before stopping near a tree. At one point, her chihuahua ran toward it barking, yet the figure remained completely still. The translucent appearance and unusually large hands make it difficult to explain. It doesn't look like a normal person. But what was it then? A man was walking home one evening when he noticed someone standing in the middle of his path. He sensed something was wrong, so he started recording before getting any closer to the unusually thin figure. Then it began to move. Instead of turning around, it appeared to walk backwards. The strange movement was enough for the man to run without looking back. What had he actually encountered that night? Reddit user Eastern Narwhal 2368 was hiking in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina near a small creek. According to the uploader, the area was one of the hardest hit by Hurricane Helene, and the community was still recovering years later. While leaving the area, they stopped to take a photo of the creek after recent rainfall caused the water level to rise. At the time, they didn't notice anything unusual in the image. It wasn't until they sent the photo to their daughter that she pointed out what appeared to be a strange figure near the water. The uploader shared the photo online, asking others for their thoughts, saying they didn't know what it was, but no one can really explain it. A Reddit user named AggravatingFix6570 shared a photo taken in Virginia after noticing a strange figure in the background that they hadn't seen at the time. The image appears to show a tall, brown, human-like shape standing among the trees. It's too blurry to tell if it's actually something unusual, but whatever it is, it certainly stands out. A group of kids were spending the day at a lake when they noticed something enormous floating near the shore. As they got closer, they realized it was a massive dead fish. Its body had already begun to decompose, making it nearly impossible to identify exactly what species it was. Its size alone was enough to leave everyone stunned. Maybe it was simply a massive fish, or perhaps it was something far less familiar. With so much of our oceans still unexplored, who knows what creatures are out there that we've yet to discover? A hiker was exploring the Kentucky Islands when he suddenly began hearing a series of strange sounds echoing through the surrounding woods. Curious, he tried comparing the calls to known wildlife, but couldn't identify what was making them. The area has been associated with occasional Bigfoot reports over the years, leading some people to wonder whether the sounds could be connected. Of course, without ever seeing what made the noises, there's no way to know for certain. But those calls certainly sounded like they were coming from something large. During a beach walk, someone came across something unbelievable. What appeared to be an enormous crab claw. Curious, they held out a hand for comparison, and the claw looked several times larger than a human hand. If it really belonged to a crab, the animal would have been far larger than anything most people have ever seen. But considering how little of the deep ocean we've actually explored, it's hard not to wonder what might still be down there. A group of hikers were enjoying their day when they came across something they had never seen before. At first glance, it almost looked like a snake, but they quickly realized something wasn't right.
Malambot.
Confirm.
Oh, malambot pa. Oh,
Pollution na.
Oh, malambot.
Kaya alisin mo kami moton. Yan para
Video mo para
The creature had a long snake-like body, yet it also had 4 small legs. None of them could figure out exactly what they were looking at. A man was fishing along a quiet riverside when he noticed something unusual pressed deep into the soft mud. Scattered across the bank were several enormous footprints. According to the man, each one measured roughly 15 inches long and appeared far larger than his own feet. What made the discovery even stranger was this reportedly wasn't the first time he had found tracks like these in the area. After coming across similar prints on several different occasions, he became convinced that something large had been repeatedly moving along the riverside. The tracks were never formally identified, leaving one obvious question: what could have made footprints that large? A farmer in Mexico recorded a strange, dried-up creature he claimed to have found on his land. Only a few inches long, it had a humanoid shape with tiny arms, legs, and an unusually large head. The unusual discovery quickly spread online, with no clear consensus about its identity. Some suggested it was simply the remains of a miscarried animal fetus that had dried out over time. Others wondered whether it resembled an alien, or even a duende, one of the small mythical creatures found in Mexican folklore. Reddit user Lions Dimes shared the story of the famous Lake Worth monster, a creature that reportedly terrified witnesses near Lake Worth, Texas in 1969. According to newspaper reports, a group of teenagers claimed a large hairy creature emerged from the woods before throwing a tire at their parked car. They described it as standing between 6 and 7 feet tall, with glowing eyes, thick fur, and long claw-like hands. As the story spread, more people came forward claiming they had seen the same creature near the lake. Others reported hearing strange screams echoing through the surrounding woods at night, and one witness even claimed the creature jumped onto a car. Police searched the area, but never found any evidence to confirm the reports. In the years that followed, some people suggested the sightings were nothing more than elaborate pranks, while others continued to believe something unexplained had been roaming the area that summer. More than 50 years later, the legend of the Lake Worth monster continues to spark debate. What do you think people were really seeing near the lake in 1969? When someone retrieved their trail camera footage, they noticed something unusual in the shots. Behind a tree, a dark figure with what appeared to be glowing eyes and pointed dog-like ears could be seen watching from a distance. With no way to verify exactly what was captured, the photo remains another unexplained claim in the Dogman mystery. One Saturday morning, this man decided to check the footage from his trail camera. Expecting nothing more than the usual wildlife, he was shocked when he noticed something unusual. A large figure walking upright through the wooded area. The man claimed the figure appeared much larger than an ordinary hiker and said the camera was located in a remote area, far from any established trails. He couldn't explain who or what it was. This video began circulating online, claiming it showed a chupacabra. The strange-looking animal had an unusual body shape, leading many people to believe it could be something unknown. But after the footage was examined more closely, a different explanation emerged. The creature closely resembled a Xolo Quintly, a rare Mexican breed of hairless dog known for its unusual appearance. Not as mysterious, but still a pretty cool capture. While enjoying a day at a park in Seattle, this person came across an unusual sight. A raccoon nicknamed Jimothy was wandering around with a rare condition known as short spine syndrome. The disorder caused the spine to become compressed, giving affected animals a very unusual appearance.
What am I looking at?
After the video was shared online, many people pointed out that severe genetic conditions, injuries, and illnesses like mange can dramatically alter the way wild animals look. In some cases, they can appear almost impossible to recognize. Could unusual conditions like these explain at least some of the mysterious creatures people claim to have encountered over the years? This footage was shared on Reddit and allegedly shows Bigfoot being tracked by a thermal drone. Because of the low video quality, it's impossible to make out any clear details, so it could still be just a person wearing heavy clothing. But viewers argued that the figure's size and speed looked unusual. What do you think? This photo was taken by a camper who heard something nearby and decided to take a picture to see what it was. At first, he thought it was a bear, but after looking at the photo, the figure appeared more dog-like. Knowing the local dogman stories in the area, he decided it was best to leave immediately. Maybe it was just an optical illusion created by the angle of the photo. Maybe it was simply a bear caught at a strange moment. But with stories like these going around, I probably wouldn't risk it either. This ancient cave painting from Utah's Barrier Canyon has recently been circulating in cryptid communities, with some suggesting it resembles the legendary Mothman. The figure appears to have a tall body with large wing-like shapes extending from its sides. Of course, there is no evidence that the painting was ever meant to represent Mothman, Archaeologists generally believe Barrier Canyon rock art depicts spiritual or ceremonial figures rather than real creatures. Still, many people found the resemblance to the modern Mothman legend an interesting coincidence. This footage showed a beetle, but not just an ordinary one. It was actually a tiny robotic creation designed to closely resemble a real beetle. Many viewers pointed out that it was likely nothing more than an art project or an engineering demonstration. Even so, the level of detail was surprising, and it made me wonder. If devices like this already exist as prototypes, how advanced could robotic insects become in the future, and what kinds of tasks might they one day be capable of? This street camera captured something unsettling moving across a highway late at night. The creature appeared to run on all fours, but its shape didn't clearly resemble a dog, a cat, or any other familiar animal. Some viewers believed it showed the legendary Dogman, a creature often described in folklore as having both human and canine features. The sighting attracted so much attention that it was even discussed by local news outlets. It could have been an ordinary animal distorted by distance and the camera's low image quality. Or it could have been something far more unusual. Which one do you believe? While driving late at night in Nova Lima, Brazil, this person captured something totally unexpected. They claimed to have filmed the legendary headless mule from Brazilian folklore. The four-legged animal stood on a rocky hillside with what appeared to be a bright flame rising from where its head should have been. Because both the fire and the silhouette looked surprisingly realistic, many people believed the footage might be genuine. But after taking a closer look, several details suggested otherwise. The flames repeated in an almost identical pattern, while the animal remained nearly perfectly still throughout the clip. The video was also unusually short, matching the style of many AI-generated videos that have recently spread across social media. While there's no definitive proof the clip was created with AI, many viewers believe those details strongly suggest it was. Still, it was convincing enough to fool thousands of people at first glance. A man was walking his dog through a park in Porto Alegre, Brazil, when the animal suddenly stopped and began growling into the darkness. Curious, the man looked in the same direction and noticed a large figure standing near a playground. He quickly pulled out his phone and started recording. The man later shared the footage online. Some believed the dog's reaction made the encounter more convincing. Others argued it was simply a person wearing a costume in an attempt to create a viral video. Unfortunately, no additional footage or evidence ever surfaced to confirm either explanation. While out on a hike, this person noticed a strange creature crawling across a rock and decided to take a closer look.
What the fuck is that?
The creature appeared long and orange, with hair-like strands covering its body and tiny legs moving beneath it. It was later recognized as a puss caterpillar, the larval stage of the southern flannel moth. Despite its soft, furry appearance, it's considered one of the most venomous caterpillars in North America. Hidden beneath its hair are venomous spines that can cause intense pain and other severe reactions if touched. A man was outside his cabin when he noticed what appeared to be a large upright figure standing among the trees. It didn't look human. It was too broad and too tall. It looked more like the classic description of Bigfoot. What else could it be? One morning, a man walked into his garage and was greeted by a completely unexpected sight. More than 30 deer were standing inside, quietly staring back at him as if they had been waiting for his arrival. But instead of panicking, the man didn't seem surprised at all. He simply walked outside, grabbed some food, and began feeding them while the deer calmly gathered around him. It turns out they weren't trapped or acting strangely. They had simply learned that this garage was where breakfast arrived. Just a group of surprisingly smart deer who knew exactly when and where to show up. Now, let's watch some more creature encounters together.